Okay, the regular monthly meeting of Boise Parks and Recreation Commission will come to order. Can we get an attendance?
Yes. Burnham,
Here.
Johnson,
Here.
Mazu,
Here.
Stidham,
Here.
Walker,
Here.
Raber, Urban. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Next thing on the agenda is approval of the February 20th meeting minutes. The recommendation by the department requests the commission recommend approval of the February 20th, 2025 meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second? All in favor? Aye.
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 Great. Then the meetings have been approved. Let's see, we now just blazing right along. We have our parks project update from Superintendent Arkell.
Good afternoon, council members or commission members. My heart's still racing because I ran up the stairs. Thank you for waiting for me.
I will attest, Madam President, that she was here. She was here. She was on time. And when I pulled in, I saw her pulling out, and I'm kind of wondering where's she going. And so I called her real quick, and she was like, "Oh, well, I need to head up to the depot where the meeting's at." And then you got me thinking that the meeting's up there. That's why I was delayed, Madam President, for being here. So I had to stop downstairs and start looking at my emails to make sure that we weren't at the depot today. So anyway, the long story short, we weren't. We're here.
It's always so wonderful to have your mistakes on public record. So
Yes, it is. There we go. I just wanted the public to know why we're 8 minutes late.
Yeah, it's my fault. I apologize. 100% my fault. Project update. So I'm really excited to be here today to share with you where we're at with our fiscal year 2025 projects. We have about 30 active projects department-wide, which I'm always astounded by the amount of work that our team can do on an annual basis to keep good parks, existing assets thriving, and to build new parks and new assets. We're tracking well on our department budget for our projects. We're about halfway through our major repair and maintenance budget and about halfway through our CIP, our capital budget. And the next 4 months, we will use it all. So first off, I wanted to chat about Charles F. McDevitt Youth Sports Complex, the work that will be starting here this summer. You may recall that we went through a master plan update in 2024, had wonderful engagement. And that master plan update was spurred by the projection of impact fee availability. Those funds were collected to service new growth within the area, and there's 10 acres of that property that's undeveloped. Through that master plan update and the public feedback we received, folks wanted to see a new basketball court, a nature playground, bike trails, additional skate features, and a fenced-in dog park. Those were the amenities that the community selected based on a suite of amenities that we had tried to coordinate to fit our $1.2 million budget. We will be going out to bid with this project next week. So we'll have a bid packet ready for consultants to look through and hope to have bids back by the end of May, so that we can get a good idea of what we will be able to accomplish. Construction and labor pricing continues to be pretty volatile, so we'll be interested to see what the pricing looks like from our contractors this new season. And feel free to stop me at any individual project, or we can wait till the end, whatever suits you. But I'm going to go through these kind of quickly, so if you have questions, don't hesitate to pipe up. Alta Harris Park, as you're aware, is in southeast Boise, south of Eckert Road on the northern side of the Boise River, kind of kitty corner to Barber Park. We had been allocated $1.5 million in impact fee dollars for this park in 2025, and we are using those funds to initiate access that we need for this park. So we're working with ACHD to finalize the road improvements that will be needed to allow us to build future assets like a parking lot and like pathways and trees and all the bathrooms and everything everybody wants. So we're working through that now. We've been back and forth with ACHD a number of times already, and we're hoping we'll be to a final design by the end of this month. We're also drilling a well on this property and working through some habitat issues so that we can make sure we're protecting any sensitive habitat types that we find on this property. Veterans Memorial Park. This was another project that was initiated based on the projected availability of impact fees. It also has this added layer. We lease this park from the state. And so based on that lease agreement, we have to periodically update the master plan. In this case, we had another, over 1,300 folks engaged in this master plan update that was finalized in 2023, asking for an 18-hole disc golf course, a nature play area, and improved security infrastructure. And that generally means lighting and the ability for folks to have good line of sight as they move through the park. We've been really diligent in the design phase of this project because this is a very beloved park in a high use area. And we've been working in collaboration with both the neighborhood association and the Gem State Disc Golf group to make sure that future design of the disc golf course does not negatively impact the other uses within the park. And I feel like we've done a really good job of successfully kind of navigating that challenge. So you'll see construction begin this summer. There'll be 2, I think, disc golf course tournaments at this site this summer, and we're utilizing those events to help us finalize the actual course layout, make sure it works for folks in the neighborhood. CW Moore Park. This is a great project. We have, as you know, placed a sidewalk style restroom at CW Moore Park. And over the last, I'd say 4 or 5 months, worked to make improvements to the landscaping in the plaza, provide some cohesivity around the various historical elements that are within the park, and just make it more accessible. I don't know if you remember, but CW Moore Park's in the heart of downtown. It's one of our oldest parks. And most of the surfacing was really uneven. And there were a number of areas where we were not compliant with ADA standards. So we're improving that with the funding that came from ACHD. That's $350,000. That's reimbursable to the city from CCDC. Excuse me, I said ACHD. And construction is currently underway, and we should be completed with that by the end of next week if we're not already. Number of projects coming soon or in the works. We should be closing out a few projects this spring. Molinar Park sand volleyball courts. That was a feature that was identified within the Molinar master plan, but was unable to be funded through impact fee investment. The neighborhood came together and asked our Energize group to help fund those courts. And so part of the city's Energize, our neighborhood funds, went to support that work. It will be 2 sand volleyball courts that will be tournament rated and ADA accessible. So we're really excited about that. Road skate park restroom replacement. We're getting closer. This is a project that we've worked on, I don't know, Doug, 5, 6 years? The restroom that was originally placed at Road Skate Park continued to just have vandalism issues. And we worked with Boise Police Department and within our own department to enhance security and set the tone, and unfortunately had to close that bathroom for a number of years due to just our inability to maintain, the lawful use of the restroom. So we will be placing again, sidewalk style restroom at this location. We'll encourage, folks to use it for its intended purpose and then move along. And it will allow us to add a couple of additional skate features to that footprint where the old restroom was. So that looking forward to seeing that project wrap up this summer. We're also working on greenbelt lighting enhancements. Most of our greenbelt is unlit. You know, unless you're in the downtown core, if you're commuting using the greenbelt, you know, before the sun comes up or after the sun goes down, you really do need bike lights and you know, feel comfortable riding in the dark. There are certain sections like Willow Lane where we have received public feedback through a number of sources where folks want to see some of those security enhancements, similar to what we heard at Veterans. And so right now we are placing greenbelt lighting all the way along Willow Lane Park from basically Lander all the way up to the end of the park. So it's $1 million project. That was funded through general fund dollars. And we're looking forward to completing that this summer as well. Upcoming dedications. I love this picture. You can see Toby Norton there, our previous parks designer who's now with CCDC, and our esteemed director, Mr. Holloway. Peasley Street Connection. Hey, guess what? The staircase is open. That's really exciting. This is the first of its kind in our city. It's a unique feature that will allow people to access Ann Morrison Park and the bench without going on busy roads. This project was originally submitted to the city through an open space and clean water improvement project application packet, because part of that levy fund can be utilized to enhance connectivity and pathways. And this staircase enhances bike and pedestrian access into our park from the bench for quite a number of households. That's households, 1,700 households. That's not individuals. So you can imagine you could probably triple that number. Accessibility elements include what you can see there as the visual indicator, that yellow striping, to show folks who maybe have a visual impairment that you're transitioning from a landing to a staircase, and vice versa. And those types of improvements were suggested by through our public engagement process, and also in coordination with our accessibility manager here at the city. Understanding it is a staircase and it will have limitations to accessibility, we tried to do what we can to make it as versatile as possible.
I was just going to ask, Madam President, I was curious if Commissioner Burnham has used this staircase yet.
Thank you for asking. Yes. And I got very tired. I went from the bottom to the top and I was worn out, but I saw something yesterday of how good just taking stairs can be for your long-term health. And so I was like, you know, it was good that I was winded on this.
It is steep.
It is steep. It is truly, like, all jokes aside, like, I live in this neighborhood or the Central Bench, and my neighbors talk about it. Like, they've been asking me once they found out that I was on this commission, like, when's it going to open? When's it going to open? Because it's such a meaningful pathway. Like, I can't describe to you how unsafe Capitol feels to walk on that sidewalk. And this just it's a game changer for accessibility for the folks that can use it. So love it. Thank you for asking.
I also used it yesterday going up to the depot. It was wonderful. And yeah, it's a workout. It's definitely a workout.
I mean, as a side note, I'm kind of excited that there's an outdoor staircase that folks can train on, because we do get that as a question a lot. Is there any place I can go that's outdoors that has stairs? And, you know, normally I say, well, go to the foothills. That's all pretty much up. But this is right in the heart of our downtown. So great. I'm glad to hear folks are enjoying it and visiting it. Castle Hills Park Playground. You'll recall, unfortunately, this playground was victim to a arson attack, I guess I would say. Kind of an odd thing for our community to experience. And there was a lot of interest in replacing the playground as soon as possible. And we were able to, with the leadership of Doug and our council and mayor, really push this project to the forefront. We are in construction now. We had a wonderful public engagement process where folks got to vote on the different options that they wanted to see. And option the option that was provided by Lucky Dog, which is the name of a recreation company that builds playgrounds, was selected. So it's very, very exciting to have a new playground come online, and we'll be having that dedication on the 9th of May. The Red Panda exhibit. So I'm going to kind of step out of my lane here and pretend that I can speak to the zoo. But our colleague Jean Peacock is very excited about this. It'll be a one-of-a-kind exhibit and unique nationwide, expanded indoor and outdoor, providing wonderful opportunities for folks to expand and enhance our animal care, and also for the visitors to view the activities of the red pandas. I think we're getting, oh, there it is right there, 3 outdoor yards. There'll be an indoor space, climbing structures, an overhead walkway, so you'll be able to see the pandas explore. And that dedication will be May 14th. I'm sure there'll be some more exciting updates about this exhibit and its future inhabitants. So hopefully you'll be able to join us at the zoo on the 14th. The linear park and pathway at Goddard Road. This project is complete. This was a long road with a lot of partners who, this would not have happened without the partnership of both Settlers Irrigation District, the school district, and the neighborhood. This project started out as an energized project, quickly blossomed into something much bigger and more amazing with the influx of funding from the Open Space and Clean Water Levy Fund. This new park and pathway is similar in a sense to Peasley, and it's in that it's something we don't have anywhere else in the city. It's right across the street from Capitol High and will include pollinator plantings, native shrubs and perennials, an accessible multi-use pathway, pavilion, shade pavilion, walkways and lighting, and raised seat beds. You can see, I wonder if I can point with this. Anyway, those small concrete pillars have lights in them. I'm really excited to see what this looks like in the evening. I think it'll be beautiful, especially with the landscaping and the lights playing off the landscaping. So that dedication will be on May 21st. Hopefully you'll be able to join us. And the leaves, the trees will have leaves on them. And I think this is the last one, Kaisho Corner. This construction project is currently underway. It's being led by CCDC. The city will accept the donation of a completed park, hopefully on July 28th. We're on a tight timeline here because as a city, we want this park to be open for, oh shoot, I'm blanking. Hialdi. Thank you, Hialdi, in July. This is a downtown park in Old Boise off 5th and Grove. It will include seating, lighting, a small stage, integrated public art, which I'm really excited to see, honoring the history of immigration and diversity in Boise. So this will be a really exciting park to see this summer. Kaisho means hello in Basque. Oh no, I couldn't forget Warm Springs Golf and Grill. Wow, this project is huge. Something exciting on the east side of town. Warm Springs Golf Course. How many of you are golfers, have been in that facility before and remember what it was, right? A 2 double wides kind of smushed up together that served the purpose for many, many years. And thankfully we had a generous donor who wanted to see an upgrade here and was able to provide some funds to catalyze the work. And we're going to have a pretty sweet facility open up this summer. I'm looking forward to sitting on a patio with something bubbly and watching my son putt on the nearby green. It's going to be really fun. I'm also looking forward to having Doug enjoy this facility because he has worked so hard to make this happen, and it will be such a lasting, wonderful improvement. So thanks, Doug.
And Madam President, I'd give a shout out too to Scott McGeehan, who's our manager at Warm Springs. He runs an incredible facility out there, and we were able to actually save up about $2 million in our reserve account that went towards the $3.5 million that the donor provided. And then the city generously is loaning, not giving, but loaning the course, the balance to get this project done. It was just a little under 12 million total cost. So the rest of that money that the city is loaning, we'll be paying back starting this year. Over the next, I think we're looking at 12-year payback on that. So But yeah, it's going to be really exciting. It's going to be very transformational, not only in terms for the course, but also for that neighborhood.
So every round you play on this course helps us pay back, right? And let's see, yeah, that's the last one. Finally, Whitney Pool. We're excited to be in the design phase of this project right now. The picture that you're looking at is the depiction of the kiddie pool features that were selected by the community to enhance this new pool. Whitney Pool, and I'll let Doug speak a little bit to this because I know he's been a lot more engaged closely with this project, but the new Whitney Pool at Whitney Elementary School will replace the old and defunct, I guess you could say, South Pool facility. We're partnering with the Boise School District. I'm very excited to provide a new regional pool at this location and continue. We hear very frequently from the public that having community pools is like essential to the quality of life in our city. And so I'm really pleased to see this project move forward. Construction is expected to begin late this year, and we hope to have it completed in 2026. Do you want to add anything else, Doug?
Madam President, Commission members, one of the things too on this is we used our 10-minute walk in determining where we would locate this pool. And we'd been in discussions with the school district for multiple years that if we ever needed to do something different at South, would that be a good location at Whitney? So we've been having these conversations, but we will more than double our access via the 10-minute walk compared to what we had at South Pool. So that just tells us there are a lot of families that live on the south side of Overland Road where Whitney is located, Whitney Elementary School. So we're excited about that because it's just going to create a whole nother generation of families that'll have access to this that may not have trekked across Overland and went down to South. And you see the feature there that won out in the public comment engagement process we went through. So we know there's a lot of folks that are excited about this. Brian Walker's on the line, I know, and this has been a great partnership with the Boise School District. If you look at our pools, other than trying to think which one is not at a school site, I guess it's Ivy Wild's the only one. All the others are either located on school property or adjacent to. So this follows that same pattern. So it makes sense to continue to look at having that kind of relationship with our district.
And that was all I had for you this afternoon.
Any questions, comments?
Yeah, I have one. The park on Eckert out to Harris has how many pickleball courts? Is that what those are?
Yes, on the master plan does call for, I believe it's 12 pickleball courts. So in 2025, that 1.5 million is going towards roadway improvements, as I mentioned. And we are trying to do our best to integrate what we're doing with what ACHD is planning for the replacement of Eckert Bridge. In 26, we are programmed to receive 3 million in impact fees, which will not cover full build out of the park. And unfortunately, pickleball's courts are not likely in that scope, just based on the amount of money that we have. It would be inappropriate to place pickleball courts right before we put it in a parking lot. So we've got some things we have to do in order to make that site accessible and enjoyable before we can get to all the amenities. But we'll know more next year when we can start to really dig into estimating costs for the various amenities and seeing what we can accomplish. And hopefully we'll have some partners come to the table and provide additional funding.
That was my next comment was considering the location. I think finding partners to assist in the cost of those pickleball courts would be relatively easy and quick.
Madam President, Commission members, and we have started some engagement process on that as well. No one has stepped forward with any big checks yet, but we will continue to have those conversations with the public on how we can get this done a little bit sooner. But Sarah's right. We need the infrastructure and all that needs to go into place. It doesn't make sense to build amenities without even going through what our green up process is, getting the parking lot put in, getting the irrigation system put in, and getting as much of this greened up so it's usable by everybody is a high priority. But the community said they want more pickleball courts, so let's see how we can make that work.
Anybody else?
I had a couple items. Um, Thanks for going through all that. That's a lot. I can only imagine the staff time and efforts and everything that go into that. And yeah, the Peasley, I'm super excited. That's just cannot talk enough about that. Um, but specifically wanted to call out two items that I think are really great. The Mulliner Park adding, Doug's heard me talk about this before, but adding two courts is a very, very nice change instead of the one. So as someone that plays volleyball, but just like witnessing a lot of our sport facilities and courts and stuff in town, it can be difficult if you want to go with like a group of folks where there's differing levels of ability, or you want to stay with your people versus playing a random game. It's really nice to have two options. So, and also when we have league night in the summer, drop-in kind of goes away for periods of time in the evening when people would want to play. So like hypothetically having multiple, like I really love where that's going. Would love if that can keep happening. I know everything's very expensive and we have limited funds for all of this, but from a sports standpoint, that's very cool and I really appreciate that. And then the second is the other one on there, the greenbelt lighting, just like with the legislative session that happened and funding around, if we're talking climate action plan and then safe biking or walking or whatever it would be other than vehicle traffic, like the greenbelt continues to be really the only thing that's legal to do moving forward, which is kind of wild to say, but ACHD won't be able to do very much in that regard anymore. So connecting communities that for folks that do want to get vehicles off the road, which is the only way to actually reduce congestion, that is really cool to see that those investments. I bike on the greenbelt through Ann Morrison, and those lights have been really, really nice since they've been added, and feel just it's really dark, which is the point for those times. But like when you're commuting home from work and the where there's shorter light time, it really makes you feel a lot more comfortable. So yeah, great work, and thanks for doing those things.
Madam President, Commission members, and I'll point out, you talked about the sand volleyball. It's interesting. It is right now, I believe, our fastest growing sport that we have is outdoor sand volleyball, which is just crazy. And that's why we've expanded this and made this a priority to get done. It's great. It's just, I'm not sure what's in the water and why it's so popular right now, but we're filled. Our leagues are full. Drop-in time is full. It's just really been an exploding sport for us.
Yeah, I think one, we have great climate for it, specifically here. Like there's so much good weather season. And I think also what you see is the barrier to entry is lower for having to collect a team. So for your team sports where you don't have to have as many people commit, those smaller sports can be huge wins because you only have to get 3 other people to join you for the sand leagues and whatnot, which is really cool to see you all responding to that need too.
Any other questions? Anyone online?
Madam President?
Mhm.
Hi, I just wanted to give a shout out to the whole team for the focus on accessibility. You mentioned the CW Moore, basically flattening out that really adds to the accessibility there. And some of the other projects that you were talking about, I noticed you had to focus on accessibility and the team that goes together to figure out like the Peasley Street indicators. I'm just glad we have a team that focuses on that and makes sure that these options are available to the most people that can use them. So thanks for that, Sarah. And all of this was great. A lot of work. So excited about all of it.
Thanks, Commissioner. We have an amazing design team, and I'm so happy to have Jason Miller and Dan Falconer and Ian work together to really do the best they can for the community. They do a wonderful job. 3 dedications in
3
May.
dedications.
Yeah.
Yes.
We've been real busy.
Yes, you have. And I really appreciate all this update because I'm still trying to get it all in my head, everything you guys do. I mean, I've been on commission for a little while now, but I'm still just amazed how much effort goes into all these projects. And I do appreciate like working through the habitat issues at Alta Harris and working really closely with disc golf when it comes to habitat and all that sort of stuff in the natural area there. I appreciate that extra effort because that means a big deal when it comes to connectivity for wildlife and plants.
I mean, just shouting out to our design team again. They go so far as to think through how light on the greenbelt will impact wildlife, and they want to make sure that, you know, they're doing wildlife friendly methods. So yeah, they're a really thoughtful group.
That's right. I never thought about that. Yeah, the downcast too for night sky and all that. Things you don't even think about. So I appreciate that. They hit all the marks.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to say one of the things that excites me seeing this presentation and all the different projects is just seeing how the city is touching every corner of our city when you really look at it. You know, it's great to see those improvements in all areas of town. And as from the school district standpoint, as Doug said, it's just been a great partnership, and we're excited for the projects that have been completed. And I can tell you, Goddard looks beautiful at nighttime with those lights. That's my community, and it looks beautiful. And we're excited about the Whitney Pool. And I had an opportunity to be part of the design team of Dallas Harris out in Harris Ranch, and just seeing Alta Park getting going is exciting for that community out there too.
Wonderful. Thanks for all the comments and input, you guys. Anything else here? Well, thank you again, Superintendent Arkell. I think we're at adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
A second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. Opposed? Anyone opposed? All right. We are now adjourned.